Morning guys, Saturday the 27th of June 2020. Hope everybody's staying safe, being practical and keeping themselves out of harm's way. So I'm just going to give you a quick look in the polytunnel today and you'll see a couple of changes. First of all, the sheer growth in here is quite immense. Yeah, sorry about that guys, I got a phone call mid-flight while I was recording. But as you can see, these here now are really coming along. And I'm not sure if you can see these butternut squash now. But again, doing really well. One or two of them haven't been pollinated and they're turning white basically. But look at this now guys, look at the size of these. And if you look underneath, you can actually see the butternut squash appearing from below. And likewise with this one here. So there's two or three on the main stalk here. And I think there's another one there starting. I think I have pollinated that one okay. But then I've got this tendril that comes out here. And we've got another female flower there coming on. And this is now starting to grow right along. And we're going to strap that up right down there. It'll provide a bit of shade as well guys. So, and likewise with this one here. I did attempt pollinating these. I don't know whether they took or not. They take a little while. Sometimes they look like they're going to die and then all of a sudden they just colour up again. And then there's another one up here which might come to as well. So on the main stem, that's pretty much all. Oh no, there's two down here as well. I done. They were pretty low to the ground, so I've got one here. And then I've got one here as well guys. So again, we took this tendril and we brought it up here. And that's a female there. So I've just this minute pollinated that one now. I've got another female one coming here. And here. And again, we're starting to put this across here. You can see how wild these grow guys. It doesn't matter how much you cut them back and how many tendrils you cut off and they just keep going. But we've just kept the one tendril to take across the greenhouse. Hopefully it'll provide a bit of shade as well. So I've had some of these spring onions out of here now as well, and they're very nice. They're not quite as big as I would like them, but we'll leave them a little bit longer. But I took some of the bigger ones and they're really nice. Little cucumber again, still making a bit of an attempt, but it's really struggling, that one. Don't know why. There we go. It is what it is. Pepper's coming along great now guys. As you can see, we've got quite a bit of flower on here. The plant there is something still eating the foliage, but there's nothing I'm not going to fight away. And as you can see, we are getting some little peppers on here now. These ones are peppers. Yeah, I think there's a pepper on each. At least one decent sized pepper on each of them. And again, likewise down here. There we go. So they're coming along nice. The chilies, I'll top these before long. I'll take the top off those, give them a little bit more, and then I'll take the tops off. But they are actually starting to flower out now. But then they'll put some side shoots out, and they'll come along. That one there still struggling. That's one of them that I bought in. As you can see, I've been cutting the dead foliage off as it's been dying, but it is now starting to darken and green up again now. So it's got established now and it's trying. These tomatoes are humongous. These are the Morrison special guys. Look at the size of these. You've seen I just clipped all these back last week, and look at the foliage on them again already. But yeah, I'm going to leave them a little bit longer as well before we cut any more off, just to provide a bit of shade down here for the chilies and what have you. The little suckers, excuse me, going like wildfire now. Stringing these up almost on a daily basis. So yeah, these are really going for it now, guys. As you can see, they're catching the other tomato plants up on the other side. So yeah, and there's actually a tomato on one of these as well, by the way. So they do produce fruit. So I'm not sure how well you can see this, but there is a little tomato come on there as well already. And it's quite a sizable truss, considering this is only a sucker. Yeah, and it's now trying to branch itself out and fork out into two here, but I'm not going to let it do that. It's going to have one stem only, purely and simply with it only being a sucker. I'm not going to take too much out of it. And likewise, this one's got second truss now as well, so they're all on at least the second truss, all of these little suckers. So yeah, it does work, guys. We'll just see what the crop comes off them. I'm not sure what we'll get off it crop wise, but to be honest with you, these were just a backup. We should get sufficient off these in here. And as you can see, everything's doing really well. Got the watering right now, guys, about once a week appears to be efficient. And everything's looking really good. The iceberg lettuce is now starting to heart up, as you can see. Cucumbers on this side now coming along well. Still not as well as I would like, but we are getting some small cucumbers on there as well, guys. As you can see there, getting one or two little cucumbers starting to come out the side. Now that it's got itself up off the ground, it's not being attacked anymore. I've purposely left these in because these are the spicy oriental leaf. There's only 2 or 3 plants that I put in here, and there's a mustard plant there. And as you can see, they're still getting butched. But I've left them in purposely for that reason. They're now not bothering the peppers quite so much now, and they're definitely leaving the icebergs alone. They're not touching the tomatoes, and they seem to have moved away from the cucumbers now, guys. So yeah, some of these little onions seem to be bulbing up quite nice as well now. So yeah, some doing better than others. That's always the case, but all in all, really pleased. See you later, guys. Bye. Hi again, guys. So back in the shed again now, as always, having a cup of coffee. So yeah, really pleased now with how things are going in the polytunnel in particular. Over in the growing garden, good success with the early potatoes. Really pleased about that. I paid myself a little visit. I just called into Aldi car park on the way up to the allotment, just out of curiosity to see if they had any vegetable plants already grown. And I'm sort of pleased that I did, because although they were on the last legs, I managed to get myself a aubergine. Now, it was about £3.50 or something like that, but to be honest with you, for the size of the plant, it was probably about a foot tall in a big pot. And I did toy with the idea of getting it the other day when I got the few cabbage and purple sprout and broccoli that I rescued, which are now looking really well since I give them a watering. And but I thought, if I put that in a bed somewhere, and it's just taking space up. Anyways, what I decided to do is I said I will get the one plant, and so I did. One, to rescue it because it was dying to death, and two, I thought, where the 25 litre water bottle is just round the corner as you go through the door in the polytunnel, I thought there's a bit of space behind there. So what I'll do is I'll just sink the pot down into the bed and leave it in its pot, and then I can either put a bamboo in there and tie it to the bamboo as it grows, or I can even put a string up and it'll string it up to the line. And I've never grew them before, and of course I didn't grow this one, it came part grown, about a foot tall. But I've never grew them before. I don't like aubergines. There's a lot of vegetables I don't like, as it just so turns out. But I still like growing them. That's not the point. I still like growing plants. And you have your successes and you have your failures. And I've had some failures this year. I've had my fair share. And then looking at other people's YouTube videos, I'm seeing that I'm actually doing better than a lot. So I'm quite pleased. And it sort of puts it in perspective that for every failure you get a success, and it makes those successes a bit sweeter, I suppose. So we got ourselves an aubergine, and because the peas that I had planted have really taken a long time to get going, and they suffered a bit. I think I put them in too early, to be honest with you. I think that was all down to me, planting them out too soon. So I bought another tray of peas. I think it was £1.50 for a tray of peas plants. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in the missing gaps where we lost a few, to grow them up those and see if they actually overtake the ones I put in earlier or catch them up. So I thought for £1.50 it'll just fill those beds back up again where I lost a few plants. Now my French dwarf beans and the runner beans, they are still surviving, but as you can see they got a battering, guys. Again, I think that was my mistake. I put them outside too early. So basically they were at a size where I didn't have the room to keep them at that size and keep them in the polytunnel. I was running short in space in there, and so in my infinite wisdom I planted them out. But we hadn't quite got rid of the frosts, and I think the frost got them, and it set them back majorly. We might still get something off them, and I'll leave the plants in purely and simply because it'll be a lesson learned and we can see what happens. And there was some more bean plants, runner bean plants down there as well, but I didn't get any. One, I'm not a massive fan of runner beans or French beans anyways, and so what little harvest we do get out of them, if any, they'll be used up by Louise, my wife. So yeah, okay guys, I'm rambling on. I've had a quick look in there. I'm going to go and have a quick look over in the garden whenever there's a cup of coffee, and today I'm just going to have a bit of a pottery day, chilling out. I'm rather disappointed. We did manage to eventually get some rain up here, and you remember we set the IBC up around the back, but what had happened is we put screws into the pipes to hold it in place and keep it nice and rigid, and it had filled up the IBC below up till about the 500 litre mark. But what had happened is, because the IBC just been set up, it was just bedding itself in, and it had rocked forward ever so gently. But because the pipe was rigid and screwed at either end, it popped out the hole and over the side, and I missed my opportunity of filling that IBC basically. So I've been and loosened the screws now and made it so that the pipe can actually flex with the barrel as and when, and move up and down with the IBC, so that if it sinks, and whilst it's sinking and settling down, if it moves again, at least the pipe can now move with it inside the hole. So yeah, one of those things, guys. Just a small observation that was overlooked, and as a result it's cost dearly. Never mind, hopefully we'll get a few more rain showers and we will catch some more before we stop with the rain again. Right guys, today I'm just going to be probably pottering around in the pigeon sheds today. I might clean one or two of them out, where the breeders are, and then we'll give you a little look at the youngsters and how they're growing on a bit later on. Stay tuned guys, and we'll catch you later. Bye. Okay guys, I decided to come and pull those last 4 early potatoes that I had in there. And I was going to pull the 4 Sarpo meters just to see what sort of size they were as well, so I can gain that bed back. And as you can see, of 4 plants, there's quite a lot of potatoes in there. I'm well impressed with this particular variety of potato. I did discover what it was called. It's called Winston. And as you can see, the majority are big to mediums, with only a few, very few small ones. And in the next bag we've got a few radish and some carrots. They're only small, but it's a feed. The rabbit, I think we must have a rabbit in here as well, because it took all the tops off the carrots, and that's the reason why I've pulled them. And they were only ever going to be small anyway, guys, so I've pulled them out. That gives me that bed back, and I can get some cucumbers in there, and then I can mesh it over, stop whatever it is getting in on that bed. Alright guys, just a quick update. That's all I got pulled because it opened up from the high heavens, so I'm in the garage taking cover. Catch you later. Okay guys, so I'm trying to dodge the raindrops here. So what I've done is I've come back out again with the shower that came on, and this is basically what we've got out of this entire bed. So as you know, there was 4 plants. Sorry, no, there turned out to be 6 of the earlies, the Winstons, and I'm seriously impressed with this variety of potato, guys. I will definitely be getting these again next year. Look at the size of these. So these are the Winston early crop. The ones I pulled last week, as I said, we've got about 3 stone or something, just under 4 stone of potatoes out of that one bed there, which was a total of 10 plants, I think. This is 6 plants here, and I would say we've got at least another good 2 stone here, just out of 6 potatoes. Seriously impressed. More importantly, because they're an early crop, and I like chips made with new potato. Look at the size of these things. The beauty about this is they're mostly large to medium, and only a few small ones. So you can have your boiled potatoes still. The medium ones are also can be boiled. But these large ones make beautiful chips. I've already had some chips out of these guys. They're absolutely gorgeous. Now then, comparison. These are the Sarpo Miras. And this, out of 4 plants, is a seriously good crop, guys. And the reason for that, these have been pulled out 10 weeks early. Imagine what they would have been like in another 10 weeks, guys. But I wanted this bed back, basically. For brassicas, etc, etc, etc. So I want to get as much out of this garden as I can this year. So I've already raked over all of this, and I've firmed it all, walked all over it and firmed it all back down. And this is the other beauty about the no-dig, guys. It's been absolutely chucking down, and my boots have not got sludge on them. I just walked all over this and bedded it all back down again after I lifted the potatoes. No sludge on my feet. Absolutely brilliant method, this, it really is. So for what it's worth, guys, this is what I mean. These were being pulled early, 10 weeks early, and as you can see, there's still some sizable potatoes in here that will make chips. Some really decent sized potatoes in here that will still make chips, and the rest will boil. And like I said, this is off 4 potatoes, and these things grow huge, guys, they really do. But this is off only 4 potatoes pulled 10 weeks early. So imagine what they would have been like if I'd have left them another 10 weeks. Anyways, like I say, I wanted the bed back, and I thought, well, you know what, we'll take these 4, we'll sacrifice these 4, because I still have another 4 over there which I can pull up if we run out of potatoes, but I doubt it. We aren't even halfway through the last potato I took up, and this is going to top them all up again now, guys. So yeah, and then of course I've still got this entire bed here, and they're the Sarpos as well, guys. But another thing, I wasn't quite sure, because I planted these the same time as the earlies. I was thinking, are they ready? They're in flower, are they ready? And of course there's no sign of any yellowing of the foliage or dying back, which is common with your late potatoes and your main crops. So curiosity got the better of me, and I decided we will sacrifice these 4 here, as I say. And even now at this stage, that's not bad out of 4 potatoes, guys. There's probably a stone of potatoes there, maybe slightly over. And you can certainly get some chips out of it, and a few boiled potatoes, so you get a couple of meals out of that already, out of 4 potatoes. Now then, here's something I've never ever done before, and I'm going to try next year. So what we've got here is the 4 Sarpo Mira seed potatoes that we planted. So all them came out of these 4 seed potatoes, and these are still rock solid, absolutely rock solid. I'm going to dry them out and put them in a paper bag, and I'm going to leave them, and I'm going to reuse those guys either later in the year and plant some more in the bed, replant these, or use them next year. Likewise with the Winstons, I managed to find 4 that were still in really good condition, really firm and hard, not rotted, nothing. Still got a couple of chits on as well. So again, I'm going to take these out, dry them out in the garage, paper bag, mark them up, and I'm going to keep those as well. And I'm going to try and see if we can get a second crop out of 1 set of seed potatoes, guys. It's an experiment. It might not work, but I'm willing to sacrifice 1 bed to do a test. Anyways, guys, I'll crack on, dig out the rest of the loose ones that might be bedded under here, and then get this firmed down, and I'll catch you later. Bye. Right, guys, what I say isn't always what I do, as you can see. So once I had a walk over in the garden. This is just me, by the way, and I don't like to. I do like to plan some things out, but I also quite enjoy swapping and changing between what I was going to do and what I am doing. And so when I went over in the garden, I seen things and I thought, right, okay, I've bought those extra plants from Aldi. Subconsciously, I must have known I was going to do this one way or another. So I bought the extra plants. I thought they need to go in. I've got a little bit of room in that other brassica bed where I've got the Chinese kale and the 4 cauliflower plants. The Chinese kale I got off my father-in-law, and the 4 all-year cauliflower, which were the only 4 that actually germinated and had a really hard start in life. They're actually grown quite well now, them guys, with the exception of 1. But even it's still growing. So I thought, all right, okay, the early taters need to come out. It's not ideal whether to pull them out when it's not ideal to lift potatoes when they're when it's wet, and the soil's wet. And even more so when it opened up from the high heavens whilst I was doing it, and I got drowned. But I'm not complaining about the rain, we need it. And hopefully that went in the IBC this time. Right, so yeah, once I pulled those 4, curiosity got the better of myself with the Sarpos. And I thought, you know what, even if they turn out to be tiny and non-edible, then I need this bed back anyways. But I was pleasantly surprised, 10 weeks early, and then as I say, probably just over a stone, maybe 1.5 stone of potatoes out of 4 seed potatoes, guys. I can't wait to see what the main crop turns out like in the other bed. Let's just hope and keep our fingers crossed that we don't get any blight. However, they are blight resistant strain of potatoes as well, by the way. And when I found the original seed potatoes still there, intact and as firm as they were, I decided I'm going to try an experiment with these. And I'm going to see if I can get a second crop off those potatoes. One in particular with the Winstons, in case I can't get that variety anymore from the local shop. And I'm also going to keep back a few of the Winstons for stock for next year. I've never tried to keep my own seed potatoes before. I'm going to keep sort of medium sized, pick a few nice medium sized ones out and try and preserve them. I'll have to do a bit of a look up on how we do that, but I'm going to definitely keep some of those Winstons back just in case. The best early potato, in my opinion, that I've ever grew, and they're beautiful as well, lovely tasting potatoes, in my opinion. So yeah, okay, so we've done that, guys. We got that bed stripped out. I've still got a bit of a space left, as I said, between the Chinese kale and the 4 cauliflower plants. So I think I've got 4 or 5 cauliflower plants and 4 or 5 purple sprout and broccoli that I'd purchased at Aldi's at £1.50 or something, that were on death's door a couple of days ago, and I bought them a couple of days ago when I went for some essentials, and basically giving them water, and they're looking great again now. So I'm going to get them in, and I'm probably going to dot them peas in as well. So the pigeons are going to take a back burner today. They have all been fed and watered, of course, as always. and they will get the second feed, so they can go and feed the youngsters before I leave this afternoon. However, I won't be showing you the birds today after all. I'm sorry, but it's got time's running out now, and by the time I get these other plants in, we will be out of time. So tomorrow, now that I've got the garden sorted and the plants in, we're up to speed with everything in the garden again. I will be concentrating on the pigeons, so you will get to see the birds tomorrow, and you'll get to see the youngsters and how they've grew in just another week. Alright guys, so stay tuned and we'll catch you later when we get a bit more done. Just another quick update guys. As you know, I said I've never had any success with strawberries. And here I am, first year ever, getting some strawberries off these little plants. And still flowering strong. Some new flowers just still appearing on some of them, but yeah, we're getting strawberries guys. They're actually just sitting soaking in a tray now with some Tomarite tomato feed, and I gave them that 2 days ago, and they've definitely perked up a lot since. They're also now starting to put out a few runners down here, so I'm going to peg those down into the pots and see if we can propagate a few more guys. I'm probably going to do a strawberry bed at some point over in the garden. The 3 little suckers that's left in the pots, these were all planted at the same time as the other suckers. Obviously they're restrained by the size of the pot, but all healthy and even starting to put a truss out one of them. And as you can see, these are the cucumbers that I planted, the second lot of cucumbers. So look at the size of these guys. These have been outside since I discovered that as soon as they emerged, they started to get attacked, if you remember. So I brought them out here where the strawberries are, and basically I've just been keeping a check on them with the water and what have you. And we've got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 9. In fact, there's another one there starting to come through there now, I think. Yeah, there's another one there just starting to poke through, so that'll be 8 out of 9. That's not bad going, that guys. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try 2 or 3 of these in that bed where I pulled the carrots from, and I'm going to make a bit of framing around there, and we're going to string them up, and then the tomato plants are going to go in. So there's 2 or 3 of those and 2 or 3 of those are going to go in that bed, and I'm going to build a frame around them and put strings up, and then we're going to put some mesh covering around as well to try and protect them, and we'll just see how it goes guys. Okay, catch you later, bye. Okay guys, quick update. So we've got the peas in now. These ones here that I've just planted, they're quite obvious from the ones that were already in there, but they were very sparse. These are the sugar snap type, and we've set them slightly forward of these ones just to get them in, fill a few gaps, and these will tie themselves to them ones and climb. So that's the theory anyways. So that's the sugar snap ones. You get 2 varieties in a tray. So down one side you get the sugar snaps, and I forget what to call the other ones now, but they're in the other bed. So they're all the sugar snaps, but they're not. They're standard peas. So I've put the label in there as well guys, but you can see the obvious. These are the ones that I planted some time ago, finally now getting established. Now a lot of this was down to the fact that I was short on water, if you remember guys, and I was struggling with water, and I was trying to preserve what little precious water I did have just to give them the occasional watering. But obviously since we started getting a couple of rains, they've come on in leaps and bounds now guys. So these ones here are the darker green ones, and likewise up there. Those are the ones that are just like a flat pea, and you eat them, they eat the entire pod rather than the peas inside. But yeah, so that's them planted out guys. These are the little cauliflowers I put in and salvaged, the ones that had a hard start. Have a look at these now guys. Look at the size of them now. But there was one that was really struggling, if you remember, but even it's making a comeback now guys. And then next to that we've just put in these other cauliflowers that we've just bought. There's 5 plants in total, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we put the label in there. There's a cauliflower, and then likewise we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's the purple sprouting broccoli. So that's this in this bed now, planted out entirely now. So that's good. So what I'm thinking about with the cucumbers, and probably not today guys, but excuse me, maybe put 1, 2, 3 cucumbers in, and then the 3 tomato plants dotted between those, and up here we'll put a cross member on there, and likewise on that end, and then we'll run a bamboo the full length of there with some cross supports coming up, and likewise, and then we're going to throw some of this green netting over it as well, and that will hopefully protect the cucumbers and the tomatoes from birds, etc., and anything getting in the bed and digging these out. As you can see, the little dwarf French beans, they are still alive, but they're really struggling. They look pale as hell. I don't know if it's a lack of nutrients, lack of water or what that made them go like this, or whether it was because the frost got them guys, but yeah. These likewise, these are the normal runner beans. They are flowering now, but they're still very pale and anemic, unless that is the colour of them, I don't know. Anyways, they don't look too healthy to me guys, but never mind, we'll leave them. They're flowering, they're growing, so we'll leave them, see how they come on. Quick look at the turnips. They are coming on now in leaps and bounds, some of them, and some of them are actually even starting to turn into small turnips now, as you can see. And then the one courgette plant that I have, as you can see, we've got a little courgette on there now, quite a number in the centre, starting to make headway. We've just about finished this row of radish now. We've had lots and lots of pickings out of here. Still a couple in there yet guys. Cauliflowers in the next bed, they've got off the father-in-law, they're all coming along. There's one in that far corner really suffering, but yeah, okay, like I say, it happens. Another 2.5 rows of radish there is ready to harvest as these ones are finishing. And then we've got these carrots that we direct sown, now coming along quite fine, as you can see. Thin in some areas and thick in others, but yeah, so there's 3 rows there of carrots, and then we did have 2 rows of spring onions as well guys, but there's literally only a handful of onions left. The birds pulled them all out as they were coming through. Then the only other thing is the red lettuces. I'm now going to just pull those as whole lettuces, and that's what I've been doing, taking them down as a whole lettuce now. Little gems are just about ready to pull. There's a Brussels sprout in here, as you can see. It's getting rather a battering of something, and one there as well. And they've also made a start on 2 of these cabbages, and they're really butchering them. So there must be a caterpillar in there or something guys. I need to get a look in there and see what's going on, but I can't. I've had a look under the leaves and I can't see anything, so it's going into hiding somewhere and then coming out. It's left those 3 there so far, and as you can see they're really going now guys. All the spicy leaves, mustard, etc., they're all finished now. I'll be pulling them out shortly. They're finished. And then in here, these are my own broccoli that I planted. Again, one of them's got a right old hammering, not doing anything. This one's thriving, this one's thriving, and this little one in the corner is healthy but small. And then next to that again, these are the Brussels sprouts I planted myself. Fine, starting to get a hammering, not so clever and not too bad. And then the cabbages that we transplanted, again looking nice and healthy, but so far so good. We'll see how that goes. And then the little snow globe turnips as well guys, they're starting to come along now, and I don't know if you can see, but they are actually starting to form as small turnips as well. Next to that we've got the beetroot coming along in leaps and bounds now. It's starting to get established as well. So yeah, just another quick update over here guys. Catch you later, bye. Okay guys, so just a bit of roundup for today. I'm back in the shed and I'm having another cup of coffee just to finish the day off. I'm not sure whether you can hear or not, but it's raining quite heavy now. I don't know whether you can hear it on the roof of the shed or not. So hopefully I'm catching some water in that IBC again, but I'll give it a final check before I leave. Been in, fed the stock birds with their second feed and everything. One or two more of the female pigeons have laid again in the same nests where the youngsters are. What happens is once they lay in the nest, the youngster gets out and sits outside the bowl. So you'll see that tomorrow, guys. I've caught about 200 litres in the other IBC that was set up with the black visqueen round it. That's just outside the stock loft here. And when the lads put the roof on the stock loft for me, not last weekend but the weekend before, I've decided I'm going to run a gut run from the back side of that stock loft, which is an area of about 10 feet by 5 feet. And then what I'll do with the downspout is I'll come in and I'll tap into the existing downspout down into that IBC. So I'll catch the rain off a 10 foot by 5 foot roof and also off an 8 foot by 6 foot roof simultaneously. And that will just help to fill that IBC quicker each time. That also has an overflow pipe on it just so that if it does get full it can actually overflow out. And that's what will be done with the other IBCs when I get them set up properly. But for now we just need to get as much in there as we can, and this is the first time we've had any really heavy rain, so thankfully I didn't need to water those plants in when I put them in, because whilst I was actually planting them it actually started to come on to rain, very light, but by the time I had packed the tools away and walked over to this shed it was on quite heavy. So I put all the potatoes into a brown potato bag now, the 25 kilo bag. And it was just short of being full, so that was quite good out of another 10 potatoes, guys. And as I say, considering the Sarpos were taken up 10 weeks early, I still got a feed off those even, a couple of feeds even. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed today's video, guys. I've got all the plants in now. I've just watered in the aubergine as well, give that a water and wait and see if it picks up by tomorrow, and then we'll give you a look at it. So as always, guys, any comments, leave them in the sections below. If you aren't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe, and then hit the little bell icon on the right, and that will alert you every time I put up a new video. For now, guys, stay safe, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.